Welcome back to Chalk Talk Seminole fans. I'm Lane Hurt, along with head men's cross country coach Bob Brayman. No dry erase board today, but we are going to talk about some cross country concepts, starting with scheduling. Just like every other sport out there, you've got your big meets, your big games. You circle that Clemson game for football, but you have those meets that weigh a little bit more. Tell me a little bit about putting together a schedule for cross country.
Well, cross country, first of all, the last day of the season is the only day that counts. So you are who you are on that day, the national championship. There's no rankings that come out when the season's over, no polls, and polls don't mean anything during the year. So it's a true 31 teams qualify. How you finish, that's where you are. So that's the beginning. So you kind of work backwards from there, knowing that if I'm going to be identified by only the national championship day, then peaking and running well late in the season is really, really important because, you don't want to be ranked high and then have that potential overrun your kids, get tired, injured, broken down, and then you're not at your best at the end of the season. So we work backwards from there, and we know that cross country is a very tough sport. We break those athletes down quite a bit with the races and the training. So we will go pretty much on about a 2-week rotation. So even if it's a race that's a little lower key race that we're going to train through early on, or an elite race later on, like a pre-national or an ACC championship or whatever, we know that they need time to recover. So we pretty much go on a 2-week rotation throughout the regular season and all the way to the region championship. So ACCs, 2 weeks later regions, and then it gets tricky because you only got 8 days to put your regional and your national championship together.
What something maybe casual fans don't understand is there's no selection committee to figure out who's going to go in this field. It's all based on, like you said, the region meet and finishing highly. But then if you don't finish highly in that, there's a point system. Tell me a little bit about the point system and why that is so important to cross country.
It's truly the most objective sport in the NCAA. There's no committee anywhere. So it's 31 teams. You have 9 regions throughout the country. The top 2 in each region get in, so that's 18, leaving you with 13 at large to be chosen nationwide. You cannot be considered for one of those spots as they go to fill those 13 spots unless you are in the position of next man up. So you have to start out by finishing 3rd in your region. So they go through and compare the 9 region 3rd place finishers and go, wow, Florida State has 5 wins over those other 9 teams. Put them in the field. So now that's team number 19. Then they move our next team in the region, who was 4th, up to number 3. And then they get considered against all the other regions. So it's a continuing process, and they keep adding teams to the field based on head-to-head of those 9 regions, who has the most wins throughout the year of the teams that are in the field. Sounds complicated, but it's very objective. You go out to big competitions throughout the year, and you want to compete against those other regions because you want to have points against those other folks, not just the folks in your region, because ultimately you're going to be compared to those other people. You don't know who they are until the region meets are done, but you know who the top folks are, and getting those wins gives you that kind of backup in case you're not in the top 2 at the actual region meet.
There you have it, Seminole fans. Just like other sports, it does matter who you race against. You want to compete against the very best and do your best in those meets. And we'll talk a little bit more about strategy next time on Chalk Talk with women's head cross country coach Kelly Phillips. For Bob Raymond, I'm Lane Hurt. We'll see you next time.